All right, well, welcome back to Living 808. Coming face to face with an aggressive animal can be scary and dangerous.
That's right. It's hard to know what to do or what the best way is to handle an aggressive animal. So in today's Animal Kingdom segment, we are getting some tips on how to reduce aggression and approach a dog that may be scared themselves. We are here at Gentle Vets in Hawaii Kai. We're chatting with Dr. Edlin here. I'm really interested in today's topic because today we're talking about aggression, right? Aggressive pet.
Dogs are predators, and they potentially are very dangerous. In fact, they kill people sometimes. And it's very important to understand aggression in dogs, what you can do to prevent it, and what you can do to avoid provoking it. What you're doing right there is exactly right. You bring your hand in low, let him sniff it, let him check you out, let him realize that you're not a threat. Come in calmly, and by doing that, you're going to reduce the aggression.
It's amazing, Dr. Edlin, how many people do it wrong. You know, now that I'm a pet owner, now that I have Maggie, it is shocking to me when I walk around the neighborhood how many people, because it's hard to be around a pet and not pet them, right?
Absolutely, we love pets.
People immediately go down to touch their heads, but that may not be the best
That's a very aggressive action. I mean, if I come at your head like that, that's aggressive, if you think about it from that point of view. Now, a lot of people just don't understand pets. Of course, in this business, we're highly professional and understand them greatly. Even so, we occasionally have problems. But they have big teeth on them. They're predators, and they can do a lot of damage. Now, one of the other things about aggression is, actually, we'll see later, he is actually a pretty aggressive dog.
Which is hard to believe because he seems so well-mannered here.
But even if he decided to go after me, he's not going to kill me. There are dogs that are big enough that could kill me. And so it's very important, especially in larger dogs, to monitor for the aggression, potential aggression, and actual aggression, and look for the signs of it. Some of the signs that we can see in dogs is a lifting of the lip. And they'll lift the lip. You see that big canine in there? It can do a lot of damage. But that's one of the first signs that you'll see. You may get a snarl, you may get a growl. You may get him backing off. And he's backing off to try and give himself some space, but if you don't give him that space and you keep coming, he's going to have to go further with his response to what he perceives as your aggression towards him. He doesn't trust you.
Okay, like we're a threat.
We're a threat, absolutely. And so dogs have to really understand that you're not a threat. And they have a personal space that if you interfere with their personal space, they'll guard it. They're not really territorial, but they will guard their space.
Okay, great. So those are some of the signs to look for. So it's kind of preventable, right? Once you see that, you have to pay attention.
Absolutely, it's preventable with people who understand what they're doing, and that's the biggest problem. Some of these horrible maulings we're seeing, they're 6-month-old child. What can you teach a 6-month-old child? You can't teach that little 6-month-old not to go into a dog's face, and so it really becomes up to the parents on the selection of their dog. Of the breed specific, because there are definitely breed specifics as far as not so much aggression, but potential lethalness. If Teddy decided to kill me, he couldn't. But if he was 60 pounds and he had a jaw like this, he could actually kill me, and he can certainly kill a little baby. And so that's one of the things we have to watch for, is to make sure that we get good dogs. And there are breed specifics. There are some breeds that are better, and some breeds that are worse as far as their danger to humans. But it's really important to look out for aggression, look out for it in the dog you select, look out for it after you get the dog, and make sure that if he's got behavior problems, get some expert help to get them under control.
That was going to be my next question, is if you have an aggressive dog, because Maggie, believe it or not, she thinks she's way bigger than she is, what can I do, Dr. Edlin, or what can people with aggressive dogs do? Okay,
you missed one of your great opportunities, which was to socialize during that first 4 months. After that has passed, you'll need professional help to get that under control, because of the fact that those traits that she's learned are now heavily embedded in her brain. It's kind of like during the first 4 months, you put in Windows operating system. Okay, now it's all software on top of it. She's got Windows minus operating system, so now you're going to need some really special software put in on top, and that'll require an expert behavioral help.
Okay, all right, but there is hope.
There's hope.
There's hope for my Maggie and all the other aggressive dogs out there. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's funny because when people see Maggie, she seems so sweet, and she's great with people, but with other dogs.
There's all sorts of different aggressions that exist. There's dog-dog aggression, there's dog-people aggression, there's fear aggression, there's timidity aggression. There's all sorts of different aggression factors that will develop in dogs.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Good job today.
You did good, Ted.
Yes.
So cute.
Yeah, I really interested in today's topic because, I mean, you know, Maggie is so good with people normally, sort of. But with other dogs, if I'm walking her and there's a dog across the street, she pulls and wants to go there. And, you know, I think it's normal, right, for them to sniff, sniff. But then she starts barking.
Does she do this?
No, so she doesn't do that. She doesn't expose her back teeth or anything, but she just starts barking.
Oh, she's so cute.
And I tried to do everything right.
My Beagle's too old to do any of that anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of waiting for Maggie to get a little bit older and a little more mellow.